This video literally found you because you're probably going through a phase of your life where you're uncertain and you feel lost, right? If you've ever felt like you're not where you're supposed to be, you're not where you want to be, and you're just stuck in this weird stage where you might feel stagnant or just kind of lost, right? I just want to make this video to remind you guys that this is not a mistake, and in reality, this is probably preparation for what you want to be. This is not a pause, this is preparation. So by the end of this video, I just intend to give you guys an understanding, right? My intention is to help you see things from a different perspective. That's always the goal, right? And I want you to understand that this season is necessary. These seasons are necessary, and they often come right before you break through everything. So let's talk about what this in-between is, right? Now, this is a space between the old and the new, right? You've outgrown where you used to be, and you were, but you're not fully into that next chapter, right? You haven't, in a sense, like settled your feet into where you're supposed to be just yet, right? And so you feel like you've outgrown the previous place, but you're also in a stage where you're not fully grown to move into this new stage, right? You probably have some sort of feeling of like restlessness. You're probably disconnected, and you oftentimes, and I felt this way, feel like you're uncertain about what your purpose is. The environment that you're in, you've outgrown. You're also in a place where you're not trying to do these old habits, and you're no longer feeling fulfilled, right? And you have this like strong desire for change, but you're not exactly sure how to define it, right? You're not sure what that exactly is just yet. And I know that can be really, really tough, because when you don't know what's going on, whether you're someone that goes with the flow or not, you're going to start to ask certain questions, and you're going to feel lost, right? And I just want to leave you guys with this thought too, right? Like, the space between where you are and where you want to be is going where the transformation happens, right? So we crave certainty. We're humans, right? The human brain is wired to seek comfort and predictability. We don't like, random shit happening. We want to have some sort of sense of stability, if you will, right? This in-between phase forces us to sit in a place where it's unknown, right? Which is a place that can trigger fear and doubt. You have a sense of loss of identity, for instance, right? You no longer exactly know who you are, but you're not sure who you're becoming either, right? And I know this can be confusing, because in a way, I'm actually kind of in this stage of life myself right now. And we go through cycles of this, and I'm in a new version of this, right? And you might be feeling the exact same thing. So continue to listen. This can feel like you're losing a part of yourself, even though it's really about shedding the old layers. It's really about, I always like to use this example, and I said this to a girl before. I said, we don't arrive, we unravel, right? We're never going to arrive at some dream destination. We're just going to unravel to that place. And if you can start to kind of see life in that respect, you'll find more peace through these transitions, right? You'll understand that, in a way, if you want to speak more spiritually, right, this discomfort isn't punishment. It's growth in the progress, right? It's growth. It's the process of growing, and growth is genuinely just uncomfortable for everybody, right? When you're in this season, you might feel like you're just lost, but you're also not understanding the reality, right? And what is that reality? Well, this season is stretching your faith, right? Your patience and your character. You're being prepared for blessings you're not even aware or fully ready to carry on yet, right? So sometimes God is having to remove things before he places things, before he can replace things. And you can't step into the new while still clinging on to the old. And I've made another video about holding on to the thing that can be holding you back is maybe what you're holding on to, right? And I wanted to emphasize that the fact is true that you just have to detach from that old version of yourself, right? You cannot go to a new place. You cannot shift your reality until you've understood where you've been. And if you're in this in-between phase, you have to look at this as an opportunity for you to find that resilience, right? You have to have trust in the process, and have to have this new sense of self-discovery. Like, yeah, it's going to feel weird, but the clarity is going to emerge in those waiting rooms of life. That direction you're looking for, where you need to be, is going to reveal itself when you go through a phase like that. When nothing is certain, everything is possible. Just think about that for a second. When nothing is certain, everything is possible. So instead of asking, why is this happening to me again, ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? Reframe this in between as a sacred place, not a setback. Like, you're in a place where you have room to grow, where you can take a step back, where you can breathe, and you can trust that whatever is about to come is meant for you to grow, right? And you can focus on the things that you control. That's the only thing you should do, right? Ever in any stage of life, you should only focus on what you can control. You should cultivate habits that are going to allow you to find yourself through this, right? And find some sort of stability in some of these cases. That might look like a new fitness journey. It might look like a new diet. And something I also want to leave you guys with is life happens in seasons and cycles and phases. It's not peaches and rainbow for 12 months for 12 years. It's often like shit for 6 months, probably some rainbows for a few, and then slightly less shit. It's not as shitty as that beginning, but it's still kind of shitty still, right? And I just want you guys to embrace this stillness, embrace this quietness. Instead of trying to rush to fill that void, have more prayers, meditate, and be grateful for this process, right? Delays are not denials. And just because you don't see the outcome does not mean it isn't unfolding behind the scenes, right? This reminds me of one of my favorite Bible verses. I can't exactly remember what it is, but basically it's describing the fact that even in a place like this where you're not familiar with, right? Even in a place where you're uncertain, how are you allowing yourself to still be in that same phase, unrecognizing that before God brought you out of something similar? Like, you were in a similar phase and God decided to bring you out, to put you in this place. And that in itself is just tremendous to me. I think that's groundbreaking. And I feel like if we focus a little bit more on understanding that clarity and understanding that God has already taken us from a season that was like this before and placed us into this stage of life, and now we're in like a new cropping, a new sowing the seed season before the next phase, anything you want can literally happen and unfold right before your eyes, right? And I just urge you guys to take this message, shift your perspective, and be grateful for the stage and the season, because this is truly a sacred place. This is when you need to decide the direction you're going to take, right? I trust in the in-between. And don't forget during this process, guys, to leave a comment, share your thoughts. I do have a community where we talk about all these kinds of things, linked in my bio, or down below in the description. So if that seems like anything that could be useful for you guys, I'd love for you to join that and have more conversations like this. But in the meantime, guys, just remember, you're not waiting for your life to start. It's happening right now, even in the in-between. Love you guys. Hope this was useful. And I'm going to record another one because I'm feeling good. God is good. So let's keep going.